Welcome to the AFLCA Exercise Theory video series supplementing Chapter 7 Basics of Anatomy. In this video, we're going to cover the concepts of anatomical position and terms of reference. Anatomical position is a universally accepted starting point when referring to body structures and movements. In anatomical position, the body is standing upright. Arms are alongside the body with palms facing forward. Legs are straight with toes pointing forward. All major joints, such as knees, hips, elbows, shoulders, and spine, are extended. The midline is an imaginary vertical line that divides the body equally into right and left sides. Terms of reference describe the spatial relationship between body structures and can also describe body movements during exercise. Superior and inferior are terms of reference that describe when one body part is situated above or below another body part. For example, my nose is superior to my navel. My navel is inferior to my nose. An example using muscle terminology would be, my rectus abdominis is superior to my rectus femoris. My rectus femoris is inferior to my rectus abdominis. Pause the video and think of another example of superior and inferior. Anterior and posterior are terms of reference that describe if one body part is situated more to the front side or back side of the body as compared to another body part. For example, my chest is anterior as compared to or in relation to my back. My back is posterior in relation to my chest. An example using muscle terminology. My pectoralis major is anterior to my latissimus dorsi. My latissimus dorsi is posterior to my pectoralis major. Pause the video and think of another example for anterior and posterior. Medial and lateral are terms of reference that describe if one body part is situated closer to the midline as compared to another body part. For example, my heart is medial to my shoulder is lateral to my heart. Think about this one. My pinky finger is medial to my thumb is lateral to my pinky finger. Being in correct anatomical position with your hands is important for this example. Pause the video and think of another example for medial and lateral. Proximal and distal are terms of reference that describe if one body part is closer to the torso as compared to another body part. These terms are usually used to describe points along the arms and legs. For example, my elbow is proximal to my wrist is distal to my elbow. An example using muscle terminology. My hamstrings are more proximal than my gastrocnemius is more distal than my hamstrings. Pause the video and think of another example of proximal and distal. Superficial and deep are terms of reference that describe if one body part is closer to or further away from the surface of the body. For example, this image represents a torso cross-section. My skin is superficial to my spine. My spine is deep to my skin. Since your skin is your most superficial body part, everything is deep to the skin. Superficial and deep are used to describe layers of muscle, if one muscle is situated over top or underneath another muscle. For example, the trapezius is oriented over top of several muscles, such as the infraspinatus. Therefore, the trapezius is superficial to the infraspinatus, and the infraspinatus is deep to the trapezius. Pause the video and think of another example of superficial and deep. Prone and supine are terms of reference that describe the body's horizontal position in relation to gravity. If you are prone, you are in a horizontal position face down, for example, in a plank. If you are supine, you are in a horizontal position face up, for example, when doing an abdominal crunch. Pause the video and think of another example of a prone exercise and a supine exercise. Finally, the term palmar refers to the anterior surface or palm of the hand, and the term plantar refers to the bottom or sole of the foot. All of these examples are of body parts. These terms of reference can also be used for describing body movements during exercise. For example, when you abduct your shoulder, your arm moves laterally away from the midline of the body along a frontal plane. When you adduct your shoulder, your arm moves medially toward the midline of the body along a frontal plane. We'll cover this more thoroughly in another video on joint actions. This video introduced the concepts of anatomical position and terms of reference, which will be helpful as you learn the muscles and joint actions involved in a variety of exercises. Be sure to check out the other videos and resources that are part of this online learning module supplementing the AFLCA Exercise Theory Manual.